Alright everyone, I told you so. Link in the description, archived of course. Cory Booker just doing a 25-hour filibuster. Setting a record, I believe, for Congress actually, in the process of doing so. You can take that link and you can read about it all you want. This is a clear Astroturf. The Democratic Party does not have a leader currently. They don't have, like, a front runner, somebody who can actually be the standard bearer of the party. They could have Joe Biden, but he's too old, and quite clearly messed up in multiple ways. They could have Kamala Harris, but, yeah, again, she's mentally not all there. She ticks the boxes as far as the sort of id poll thing goes, but she's not very well spoken, and she's not very well capable of debating. We've seen this before. So then you default to, like, the Gavin Newsoms, which have a lot of baggage, or the Whitmers, which have a lot of baggage, or the Hokels, which come from deep blue states, and that doesn't really work. So what do? You have to have a dark horse candidate. And I've predicted this for literally years at this point. Cory Booker is the next on their list. We're going to see how far he can go. It's possible that his particularly long filibuster allows him to rise to the top, and then he can proceed and become the Democratic candidate. That is definitely the goal. They're casting around because they're not really confident in the people that are actually at the forefront, like the Hokels and the Newsoms. They're not particularly confident in them, and they shouldn't be. They're right to doubt the capability of these individuals to actually carry out a federal-level campaign. Cory Booker is, at the very least, reasonably well-spoken. He's, at the very least, reasonably intelligent, and so he's got one up on pretty much every other Democrat in the field. And so we're going to see what happens with him. I don't think that he'll be the nominee. I think they're going to continue casting around for someone who's even more of a dark horse. But of the people that are currently obviously in the running, so you've got him, you've got Newsom, you've got Kamala, and so forth, I would say he's probably number one on that list. It's a sad statement about the Democratic Party, by the way, that he would be your number one candidate. But I digress. In reality, I think that he is actually the one that they're looking for. Can he win? It depends on who his opponent is. If the Republicans are smart, they will simply go with J.D. Vance in 2028. And they'll say, well, he's the heir apparent, he was the VP, and, he's done a reasonably good job so far. He is doing so, and we'll stick with him. But these are Republicans that we're talking about. Do not underestimate their ability to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Look at Mitch McConnell, for example. Mitch McConnell and some other Republicans, Collins, I believe it was, and a few others, voting against the budget bill, if I remember correctly, or some major bill recently. This happens all the time, and in some cases, at the very least, like with Rand Paul, there can be a justification. Well, I'm not going to vote for it because I ideologically oppose it. Okay, well, the very least, you've got the intelligence to give an explanation as to why you're not voting for it. But you're voting alongside Mitch McConnell. All right, okay, yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense. When that happens, it's probably not a great thing. So I think that Cory Booker is doing the 25-hour filibuster. Again, a record breaker within Congress, specifically for the purposes of gaining momentum to run for the presidency. He has presidential ambitions. That much is clear. It's entirely clear. Whether or not it actually materializes, though, is completely different. We've seen this before within the Democratic Party, of course. They've tried to Astroturf Gavin Newsom, but he has too much baggage. They tried to Astroturf Hochul and Whitmer, but they've got too much baggage and also come from areas that are not really in contention. They've tried to Astroturf Kamala Harris, but that didn't go over too well. Now did it? She's pretty much disappeared. There's a reason for that. The Democrats don't even want to talk about her. Again, there's a reason for this. So you don't really have a packed field. You have a pretty sparse one. If you're going to get Cory Booker in there, at the very least, you've got somebody who is capable of speaking for an extended period of time without making too many errors. And so that's probably what they're going with. It's probably going to be Cory Booker versus J.D. Vance 2028. This is going to be hilarious, by the way. It's going to be absolutely... I can't even tell you how excited I am for the next election. It gives me a reason to live. There's a reason for this. Cory Booker? Yeah, that'll go over real well. I think that he would do a better job than like a Whitmer or Newsom. That being said, I can't really see him as a presidential candidate. He's too derpy, in my opinion. But this is just my opinion. We're going to have to wait until we get much closer to the actual election in order to actually flesh things out. The whole problem with regards to doing news and current events analysis, which is what I do for a living, is that you definitely need to wait. It's really great to do the clickbait thing, but you have to wait until you're awfully closer to the actual the debates themselves in order to see what's actually going to happen. I have a feeling that J.D. Vance would basically hand him his lunch. But that remains to be seen. We haven't actually gotten a chance to see that yet. Vance is relatively well-spoken. He's relatively intelligent, and I think would probably, wipe the floor with Cory Booker. But Cory Booker is not a slouch when it comes to actually public speaking. People will say, well, he's derpy. He's derped out. True, but at the same time, he is better than most politicians with regards to that particular issue. And so we have to give him a chance. We have to see exactly what he says. It would be funny to see him try to distance himself from the Biden administration, by the way. Oh my God, will that be fucking funny as hell. And it will probably happen. I have a feeling that he's going to be one of the front runners for the Democratic nomination. They seem to have found their man. That's about all. Peace out.